Hey everybody, Brian here. So in this video I want to show you this car here. We're going to go for a drive and we'll just have a quick look around some of the features on the outside and the inside, and by the end of the video then you'll be more familiar with a 1 litre turbo petrol in what's called an N-line in a Hyundai Kona. If there's any information you want on these cars, 086 843 1945. Brian's my name. So what we're going to do is a quick look around the outside and just show you some of the stuff that I like on these cars. Then we'll get into the inside and then we'll go for a quick drive as well. So N-line is the highest spec and it's the kind of most sporty finish on these cars. But my experience is people that generally kind of look at these, if they're into N-line, then they literally won't consider the other model. N-line is much more aggressive in its kind of styling in terms of wheels and bumpers and all that kind of stuff. So nice things I like. I really like the way the daytime running lights come all the way around the front. So on some of the entry and middle specs, you'll have kind of like a gap here where there's no light. But I think this actually looks really, really neat. And then after that, they always have, now to be fair, all these Konas do have LEDs for headlights and dip lights, but the indicators on the front and also on the rear will be an LED whenever you go into an N-line. The wheels on this model then, they're an 18-inch wheel. So again, just bear with me for a sec. Coming back around to the front, the bumper's a much more aggressive shape compared to the normal model. So this is a lot fatter up here and you have these kind of sections that come up and a bigger kind of mouth overall at the front. And it's got a nice little N-line embossed in through there. And actually, just while we were talking, one of the active air flaps actually opened in through there, so you could hear that noise in the background. Down low, small bit of skirting, which has kind of brushed aluminium on it. And then that kind of follows all the way down the side of the car as well. On this N-line, you can see that the mirror caps become black, which is usually kind of a sporty looking thing. After that then, you've got roof rails up high. So obviously they're going to allow you to use bars to go from side to side. If you want to use things like a roof box, the rear windows will be tinted. There's a nice black section that kind of, so when you're looking at the back of it, it kind of makes that more, how would you say, there's more contrast on it. That kind of silver skirt follows all the way around to the rear. And I think on the back of these cars, compared to the normal model as well, the diffuser is quite nice down along the bottom. I really like the exposed exhaust. It just makes it look sporty. And even though the light bar is standard on all the Konas, I think on this one, it just, I don't know, kind of, maybe it's because it's the colour on the outside of the car. I really like Ultimate Red. I think it's a lovely colour, especially when it's clean. So one thing, I had a friend of mine that's kind of, really likes certain types of cars, saloons and sporty cars. Doesn't really like SUVs. But when these came out first, I remember he just said to me, "What's that?" And I said, "It's Kona." And he kind of, because it was an N-line, it wasn't that actual car, but it was a black one. But because it was an N-line, he kind of didn't sort of believe me for a second. He kind of took a bit of a double take on it because he was used to looking at the non-N-line version. So this N-line version, it doesn't appeal to some people when they kind of like, you know, a sportier look, but they want the running costs of, say, a normal car. So anyway, that's some of the stuff I like on the outside. What we're going to do is, let's have a look around some of the inside stuff and then we'll go for a drive as well. Okay, let's just have a quick look at the boot while we're outside. So the boot, this is like 30% bigger than the previous model of Kona, so it's quite big. And then under through here, there is a spare wheel. So remember, on the hybrids, you don't get a spare wheel, but on the petrol manuals, you do. And one other neat thing on these you can do is you can stow away that tonneau cover if you want a kind of a deep boot area. So the boot's good. Right, let's go around to the rear. So the rear windows are privacy, usual stuff you'd expect. So child locks and electric windows for the rear and all that kind of stuff. 3 head restraints, 3-point safety belts. There's an armrest in through the centre. Because it's an N-line, there's little red accents on the vents. And there's USB-C in through there. There's some storage kangaroo pockets there, as you'd expect. And then for a 6-foot person sitting behind a 6-foot person, see the way the seats are kind of, they sort of curve. So your knee room is actually quite good and your headroom is decent as well. Okay, up front before we go for a drive, usual stuff, electrics for windows and mirrors. Entry, sorry, it's dirty here from my feet getting in and out, so apologies, that needs to be hoovered. Just a little checker plating there as a scuff guard. Down through here, aluminium pedals. Handbrake is here, hill descent control, auto stop start like every model car basically these days. That seat will be height adjustable. and there'll be lumbar support for your lower back. And then for an N-line, red stitching, N embossed in through there. At the end, if you're just not familiar with it, it's their kind of racing division for motorsports, and they just have these N lines which are more sporty versions. So nice little details in that. More red stitching here, red accent on the dash. Gear knob then is got N, and it's also got a red section there as well. And then the bottom of the steering wheel has a red section. Has a N badge in through here. So anyway, we'll go for a drive in a sec. All this stuff over here is Bluetooth and cruise control. All this stuff over here is changing information on the display and through here. Lane departure control and warning. And I really like the way on all Hyundais it tells you the mode of wiper that you're in without having to guess where the stock is. The wipers will be automatic, the lights will be automatic, and they'll also have auto dip. So when they meet traffic, they will dip. And then in through there, maps. So it'll have built-in maps and it takes postcodes in Ireland, which is great. But the other thing as well is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is completely wireless. Different temperatures on each side of the car. Over through here then, wireless charging, USB-C points again. Heated steering wheel, heated seat. And then actually on these you can have the parking camera looking backwards when you're driving forward, which I think is a nice idea. In terms of starting the car, it's push button start, and then these clocks in here, they're also customizable, so we can go into a setup menu and you can change how they look. So if you want a more kind of analog look, or if you want a digital look, or you can change them into kind of different colors and all that kind of stuff as well. Down through here then there's a drive mode. So it can change the clocks. No, I've just happened to set them on that, but it can change the clocks. But crucially, it changes how sensitive the throttle position is. So if you want a sportier drive, I would advise going for sport. If you've not driven a Kona before, then you will find it high off the ground. So cars like these, I suppose, what attracts, well, okay, in my opinion, what people like about them is they feel high off the ground. It gives that elevated kind of SUV feel, but it's not a big bulky car. So in terms of kind of maneuverability and general just kind of logistics of parking in towns, and let's face it, modern cars have gotten big compared to the parking spaces. So from that point of view, they're nimble, and like even the steering feels light on this car. All the controls feel kind of nice and easy to use, but you're getting that kind of bigger car feel, but in not as big a car. And on a back road like this, it kind of sits really nicely on the road. They're a 1 litre, and actually the gearbox is lovely in these. If you like a manual gearbox, I think you'll definitely like shifting up or down through the gearbox on the car like this. The car is 120 horsepower, so 6 forward gears, and that is a 1 litre turbocharged engine. So there's good power in it. This particular example, as you'd expect, decent mileage, one owner car, everything feels good. Steering, brakes, clutch, gearbox. It feels like a nice car that's kind of had I suppose, a pretty easy life. But you'll see yourself, if you come to drive this car, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, there you have it. I really like this car. I really like the colour. This car will have warranty until 2028. It'll have a roadside assist until 2028, and it's a one owner car with a full service history. We'll be able to take trade-ins. So if I've missed anything, let me know in the comment section, or if you're interested in buying this car and you're in Ireland, Brian's mine, give me a shout. That's how I get paid. So sometimes I do these videos and people are going to buy cars off the other guys, which is absolutely fine, but it would help if you give me a shout, because that is my job. So anyway, 086 843 1945. Hopefully the video is useful. Thanks for watching.